Hello, this is Dana with Love Sola Flowers, and we are going to be making something fun tonight. But if you want to check out some of our supplies that we have on our website, along with our high quality wood flowers, our website is lovesolaflowers.com. And we also have a group where you can also share your projects and get some encouraging feedback, and just have a group of ladies and gentlemen who like to craft with the same things that you do. Please join that Facebook group. It is facebook.com/groups/lovesolaflowers, and it's a really fun community to be a part of. And we will have our tutorials here uploaded on our YouTube channel. The YouTube link is youtube.com/lovesolaflowers. Make sure you like and subscribe to our channel so that when we do upload new videos, you are notified about that and you can find things easily. Now, we have years worth of tutorials here on our channel. Make sure you scroll through, but you can also use our search button and type in different things you want to find. So we are going to be doing something that was inspired by Halloween. The wedding industry is doing a lot of different things these days, not just classic and traditional. And one of the themes I've been seeing popping up is Till Death Do Us Part for some of those Gothic style brides, some of the alternative style weddings. And I thought this would be a cute centerpiece or something you can put next to your guest book. Also just to decorate your house, obviously during creepy times, during Halloween and things like that. But we're going to make a truck. As you can see, it's a black one. And I'm going to make a little skeleton popping out at the back of the truck with some flowers. So what we need first is obviously our truck and then a piece of foam. So mine's a little beat up because when I had cut it, I put it down and I figured out I could see it through the little vents on the side. So I just ripped it apart a little bit just to bring it down so you don't see that. Now I am going to glue this in. But some of these things, as long as you're not rough with them, even if you don't get a really good glue down, they won't move. They won't, be affected too much just by sitting down on a table or something. But obviously, if it's going to be moving around a lot, especially if you're going to be setting up for a wedding, you might want to add a bunch of glue to the bottom of that. But my little drips there is good enough for the project for me. I do have a little bit of black greenery. I didn't want to go crazy with greenery because I didn't want to use green because we are trying to go Gothic here and we have a black truck. But I did just want some leaves. So I found this metallic-y, let me hold it up to you. So it's sparkly, blackish, kind of has almost like a blue tint to it, I think, because of the sparkles. But I'm just going to put a couple of those leaves in there. I don't want a bunch because I do want my little skeleton guy to be my main focus. But I am going to just stem some of these. So I just have a couple leaves. And so I don't really have the stems to be able to kind of go into the foam. But whenever you have that, so if you ever lose leaves or you make a project and some leaves fall off, or there's leaves on the bottom that you don't need, save those. Always save your little scraps because you can make lots of projects with scraps actually. And then with these kinds, there's usually a hole that was stuck onto the nub of a stem, and you can just add a little wire to it with some hot glue and make it as new. So I'm just going to add those first, and then we'll move on to our little skeleton guy, and I will explain how I made her. And then we're going to add our flowers. So this one again doesn't need too much fillers in it. This one already has its nub still in it, so I'm just going to use that. All right. Okay, so I just got a little base of greenery, nothing too crazy. And then I'm going to start with the head of my skeleton because I'm going to build the flowers around it. I'm just going to place it first, and then I'm going to actually pull it out before I figure out, where I want my flowers to go. But I just want to kind of get what angle so I have an idea. So I think I want her looking a little bit to the side. So I think I'm going to put her leaning on this back corner. So now I know where I'm going to put her little head. I can build my other flowers around it, just making sure I give it a little space back there. Now to make my little girl here, what I did was I took you can buy styrofoam skeleton heads. And if you didn't know, which for sometimes you find out when you don't want to know, but if you spray styrofoam with spray paint, it actually dissolves it and eats it away a little bit. And in this case, that's what I wanted it to look like. I wanted it to look like hammered metal. So I took the styrofoam head, I sprayed it with silver spray paint. If you can see, I bedazzled it with some rhinestones. And then I used sola flowers that were dyed and some feathers to give her a little flower hat, so we know that she's a girl. So now that I know, I think her head fits good kind of here in this corner, because I do want her looking out that way, because I'll show you what I got later as well. But I'm going to put the flowers kind of with that in mind. I've got some gold flowers, I've got some red flowers, and I have some raw flowers if I'm going to want to put those in there too. But I'm going to just start by adding. Now I am going to put a dot of glue on my wire that I have on my flowers, just so those flowers don't move. I'm going to put these red ones first. Now, if you're looking at these flowers and you're like, oh, those look a little bit warped looking, it's because I did that on purpose as well. So I took the infinity rose, which is actually a tightly spun, tightly wrapped rose. And when you dye it, it actually comes undone a little bit. So again, if you're new to sola flowers, flowers that have curled edges, if you wet them and try to dye them, they can come uncurled. So we suggest that a lot of those flowers, you don't dye, you keep them as your white or your raw. But like, let me just show you an example actually. So like the Roma rose, if you dyed it, these would uncurl. So I keep these as my white raw ones. But the infinity rose actually looks pretty cool when you actually let it kind of come apart on purpose. It kind of looks raggedy. I did it on purpose. And what I did was I dyed it in a burgundy color, and then I just sprayed the edges with a gold spray paint to kind of make it look antique-y and creepy. So I did purposely make these guys a little bit crazy looking. And we are just stemming them with, I use 18 gauge wire. And then we're just gluing them in our little truck here. Leaving some gaps, because obviously I'm going to put some other flowers in there as well. Now, if you don't know how to stem our flowers, if you're brand new to sola flowers, we do have lots of videos on the basics, things like stemming your flowers, fluffing your flowers, and so on. So you can check that out in here on our YouTube tutorials. So I'm going to show you, I am going outside of the little cracks too, so that I can cover some of that as well. And I'm just going to fill this up with flowers. Once I get a decent amount of my flowers in, I'll reattach her head where I wanted it to go. And you don't have to go on the outside of it if you're tucking it with greens, again, because I'm trying not to do so many greens. I have a kind of a gap in there, so that's kind of why I'm filling that spot. But if you're going for, you know, a bunch of greens on the you know, bottom of that, you'll have that covered anyway, so you won't see anything. Now we do have, you know, some of these roses too that are crinkly. Those don't tend to unravel when you dye them. It's more those curled edges ones that give the problem when they are wet, because our flowers do become extra malleable once they are wet. So when you dye them, you know, they become kind of soft. And they move too much for when you're wanting it to stay in shape like that. Now, let me just glue more of these in. And again, I'm using 18 gauge wire stems. And we are just doing a little fill here. If you're the kind of person that likes a lot of filler, you know, go for it. Fill that truck up first. So your first step would always be the greenery base before you put your flowers in. So go ahead, fill in the greens that you would want. And then you can go ahead and do this process of adding the flowers. Okay, I'm gonna add a few more red ones. And then I will put a couple raw. Let's see where I want this. Wanting to make sure I leave that space where I kind of set for the head. So I still have my gap. I might have to shift my flowers once I get the head in. Let me actually test that and just see. Okay, she's still got room. I had her on a stem, but I'm gonna take that out and put in a longer wire. Oop, it went flying. So I'm gonna just add a longer stem so she can kind of float above. Okay, so I'm just gonna put a couple more flowers in here. Again, there's no need to go crazy sometimes. Simple is nice too, especially when we're all trying to save money. Some of these crafts, just by staying simple, you know, cuts down on that money a little bit. Another way to save is on our website. Again, that's lovesoloflowers.com. We do have bulk packs, and it gives you kind of assortments, as well as being able to buy one flower, you know, in bulk and a little bit cheaper than our dozens. Let's see. I think I want to stick small. If you also have a business, we have a wholesale section to our website, and you get special wholesale pricing. When you have a wholesale account, when you log in, it will give you the cheapest pricing that we have. So even if there's a sale going on and there's a sale to everybody, every single thing, you'll know that you're getting the cheapest price always if you sign into that wholesale account. So check that out too if you're a business. Okay, so I am leaving a little gap here, and I'll show you why in a minute. So I just got it, again, very simple, nothing crazy, filled with flowers. And now is gonna come our fun part, and we're gonna put our little head in our spot. So I'm gonna set it up first, see where I need to trim it, and then I'll put glue on it because I don't want that coming out. Okay, so I've positioned her where I want her. Oops, need another stick. And I'm gonna glue right down on that wire. Slide that in, and then let her head rest there. Okay, so she's got that. And then I picked up little skeleton hands. So it looks like she's trying to like climb out through the flowers. So we're gonna put those in too. So I left myself a little gap of where I feel like hands would be. Okay, now I just wanna make sure I get the thumbs in the right spot. I don't want her hands on backwards. Although she's a skeleton, I don't want her hands on backwards. So I'm gonna put glue on that. And glue on this one. She's kind of climbing through the flowers. I kind of picture it like maybe she's in a grave, coming up out of a grave where there was flowers. Look at her little creepy hands. And we've got a little skeleton in the back of a truck. Now, again, like I was saying, sometimes even I just did a Friday the 13th wedding, but if that theme is still deaf to your part, you could always even write it on the truck if you have a Cricut machine or some vinyl, and you can actually put that on it, or the date of your wedding. Again, this could just be a Halloween decoration, or if you just like skeletons and you're kind of a Gothic style decorator even in your house, you know, it's kind of cool for that too. So there's just kind of I mean, the black truck reminds me of even a hearse, so I thought that would be fun too. But here's our little skeleton lady climbing through the flowers, trying to get to you. And of course, if you wanted to do a couple, you could have done a boy head and a girl head together, maybe even holding hands or something like that. So there's a cute bunch of things you can do with these trucks. We might do a Christmas one during Christmas time, although we did one, I think, last year in our tutorials. But again, these trucks are super seasonal. Now, another thing you can do with these trucks is keep that block not glued in, have everything attached just to that block. and you can switch out blocks for season, and then you don't have to buy a new truck every single time. If you found a truck that you love, or a white one, or, you know, neutral color like black, you can use it for multiple seasons. So all you would do is that block you put in there, you'd attach everything to the block, but don't glue the block in. That way you can remove it and pop in a different block for every season. I hope you like this. Check us out on lovesoilflowers.com.